Hey guys, and welcome back to the Indie Spotlight here on the Frons Productions YouTube channel. If you're new to this series, this is where I take a look at independent films to help shine a spotlight on some of the awesome talent out there making indie movies. Today, we're going to be looking at the first episode of Everyday Dread, which is a series being ran and produced and directed by Nick Mulbach. And the first episode that we're looking at is Strangers. In a nutshell, the Everyday Dread series looks to take the horror genre and flip it on its head by blending genres and bringing the slasher film into the most everyday and routine life scenarios. It begs the question of what would happen if everyday life just suddenly turned into a bloody nightmare. Kicking us off with the very first episode of Everyday Dread, we have Strangers, which pokes fun at your most stereotypical 90s sitcom ever, all the way down to a cheeky little opening credits sequence that puts you right in the mind of shows like Full House, for instance. Well, throughout this episode, we get the corny laugh track and bad jokes that are overall such a great parody and a hilarious representation of this dated genre. However, it doesn't take long until things get really dark in this episode as Mr. and Mrs. Dubes become concerned when Ellie tells them about a new mysterious stranger she met who is now her friend. Well, as it turns out, this guy sure wants to pay the family a visit. And from that point on, we discover this Art the Clown-inspired demonic slasher killer wants to meet, greet, and ultimately slaughter every single person he encounters in the Dubes household. To me, what really does make Everyday Dread stand out and why I think it really works so well is that you would think that once the killer arrives and we really start to shift away from the sitcom aspect to more of a horror, that campiness of the sitcom would start to fade away. But no, Nick does not shy away from that. In fact, what he does is he turns the comedy into more of a very dry but dark and twisted sense of humor, to where even while we have these brutal, bloody killings happening, you know, characters are still making their corny sitcom jokes, and you find yourself just laughing right along with the laugh track, which, yes, it still persists, only it has a different tone. Now when you're hearing the laugh track, it almost sounds like sarcastic, and it works in such a way that you're laughing so hard while watching it because it's so hilarious, but at the same time, the killings are so, violent and brutal, and you find yourself like, what's wrong with me? Why am I laughing at it? But it just works. Keeping that campiness and the corny puns, pairing that with these brutal killings, and putting that together really does kind of give you this parody that it almost put me in the mind of that Adult Swim short that they did of Too Many Cooks, where they keep that corniness from beginning to end, even when things start to get dark and twisted. And it's got this dark sense of humor, this, almost black comedy to it that just gives it a certain edge and really does make it a very enjoyable watch. And I think that it is the unlikely pairing of 90s sitcom and slasher movie that really is what we should be taking away from this and learning from as independent filmmakers. If you were to take this idea into a studio like Warner Brothers or, some big, Paramount, for instance, they're probably going to look at you like you're absolutely insane because they're not going to take the risk on a project like this. But we, as independent filmmakers, we can take the most, what might seem on paper, the craziest idea and put that together to absolutely great effect and make something absolutely terrific. And I think that as indie filmmakers, we shouldn't be scared to take these kinds of risks and really put out the kind of work that you wouldn't see otherwise. Now, as always with these Indie Spotlight videos, I want to link down to where you can watch Everyday Dread Strangers, which it is right now on YouTube. So go ahead, check that out. And if you like it, Actually, Nick Malbach is running the Indiegogo campaign right now to try to raise some additional funds in order to put out even more episodes of the series. So if you like what you saw from the first episode, go ahead, and also down in the description on this video, I'm linking directly to Nick's Indiegogo campaign for Everyday Dread. Go ahead and go to that and contribute and help this series grow and become a big internet sensation. But anyway, guys, that's all that I have for you here today. Remember, if you like this content and you want to see even more videos on independent filmmaking, then you know what to do. Go ahead and subscribe. Make sure that you drop a like and turn the bell on for notifications so you don't miss any more videos right here on the Frons Productions YouTube channel. And for all you indie filmmakers out there, if you have a movie that you'd like me to talk about on the Indie Spotlight, all you need to do is leave a comment, and in the comments let me know what's the name of your movie, where can I watch it, and I will be sure to add that to a future episode of Indie Spotlight. Anyway, guys, as always, that's a wrap.